Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special episode on Palm Sunday, the Lord's Passion that we are going to celebrate tomorrow at Mass. So let's get to our Sunday morning, and the very first thing that happens before Mass begins is the palm procession. And there's a lot of excitement. Everyone is clamoring to get their palms, and kids and elders and uncles and aunties and everybody is just rushing to get their share of palms that they can clutch and hold during the procession. But while all of this is happening, there's something very important that's also happening, and most of us miss out this little detail, and that is the readings. The gospel is being read. The Palm Procession Gospel this year is going to be from Mark chapter 11 verses 1 to 10. And as it starts, it says, when Jesus and his disciples drew near to Jerusalem, to Bethphage and Bethany at the Mount of Olives. So I think it's important for us to focus on that reading. In our church, in Holy Ghost Church, they have their speakers outside, and when the priest is reading the gospel, everyone on the procession can hear it. In most churches, they make this effort for the gospel to be heard outside during the procession. So let's pay attention to this reading as we begin our celebration on Sunday. The next question we want to address is the donkey, where Jesus says to his disciples, "Go into the village opposite you, and immediately on entering it, you will find a colt tethered on which no one has ever sat. Untie it and bring it here." Now, when Jesus goes riding on a donkey, many of us have different interpretations of this particular act. Okay. And I think most of us think with this very humble way of approaching Jerusalem. But one must remember that most people walked to Jerusalem, and that was the humility of each pilgrim. So if most people walked to Jerusalem, and why was Jesus put on a donkey? Well, we have to go back to the book of Kings. So the riding of the donkey is nothing but telling of some of the prophecies of the Old Testament, because the Old Testament in 1 Kings chapter 1 talks about the prophecy of the son of David. Jesus is the son of David. And the son of David, being Solomon, was being chosen to succeed David. It is also a prophecy of Zechariah 9:9, where the prophet says that, "Behold, the king will come riding on a donkey." So this is the first time that Jesus is allowing people to acknowledge him as king. So in a way, the theme of humility is relevant, because why would a king come riding a donkey? A king would normally come riding a victorious horse. But here we see him riding a donkey. So in many ways, it's a humble act. But it's also important to note that in the book of Revelations, it says that Jesus will come riding on a white steed, because that will be the victorious Jesus. Something interesting for you to note. And the waving of the palms is supposed to signify the story of what we hear in the book of Maccabees. Judas Maccabee had reclaimed the temple, which was desecrated. And now the temple was being reconsecrated to God. And in honor of that, the people waved their palms. So here we see Jesus entering into Jerusalem, and the waving of the palms, in a way, is the consecration of Jesus being honored as king, and him being restored in our lives. And that's what actually happens at our masses. If you follow the reading, it says that those preceding him as well as those following him kept crying out, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the kingdom of our father David that is to come. Hosanna in the highest." Now this, of course, we all are quite familiar with, the Sanctus. At every Mass we sing this, the Holy, Holy, Holy. Psalm 118, verse 26. So, in this prayer, in the Benedictus prayer, we are getting ready for the consecration. And just as the people had waved their palms, inviting Jesus into Jerusalem, or signifying his entry into Jerusalem, here we're getting ready for the consecration. And here we are. Here, Jesus is going to enter through into the Mass through the Eucharist and enter our bodies, which is another temple. So, brothers and sisters, as we draw to an end of this special episode, I just want to remind you that as we enter Palm Sunday, we kind of come to a crossroad because we have come to the last Sunday of Lent. Our Lenten journey has come almost to an end, and we now begin Holy Week. It's a good time to reflect and think about how has my Lent been. So while most of us might have found ourselves struggling, some of us might have been being very diligent about our Lenten journey. Let's look forward and place ourselves into the Holy Week. So while we do the reflections, it's very, very important that we enter and immerse ourselves in the Holy Week, because in this 1 week a lot will unfold, and then we'll be in a real position to celebrate Easter. Whatever it is, take time, but enter into Holy Week and use this Palm Sunday as a medium to enter into this beautiful time that we're going to experience in this following week. God bless you and have a wonderful Palm Sunday.